Hi, welcome to Frugal Handcrafting. This morning I thought we'd do a quick video on how to do a buttonhole. It seems a little intimidating, but it's really not as bad as it seems. I'm not an expert, as I usually tell you. I haven't done it that many times, but it's not as hard as you think it is. So today, before I finish up my project, I want to do a little practice on how we're going to do the buttonholes. So let's just take a look at the machine, and we'll get started on doing the setup. This is the buttonholer for my Brother Project Runway model, and I'm sure most are similar to this. If not, you can check in your instruction booklet. But this is basically what you do. Is this little back portion here is the part to hold your button. And you just put that on tight like that. I'm going to use this button for today just because it happens to give me the right size I need, but my actual button is going to be this one that I'm going to use on my project. And this is a shank button, and shank buttons are done a little differently. You measure them, the width of them, and then you also have to measure for the depth. So measuring for that, I came up with this size, and it seems to be perfect. So we're going to go with that. You might want to look at your manual to see the instructions for how you do it on your model machine. But that seems like it's going to work pretty well. All you do is you pop off the foot that you currently have on your machine. And then leave the button inside. And then you're going to take this little bar and hook it on to your machine like this. Lift that up. Make sure your thread is not in the way. And wait till you hear it clicks. It'll clamp on. There we go. Okay, now it's setting in the right position currently. The front is going to be up a little bit. Don't push on the foot or anything. That's just the way it's going to sit. So then on this machine, there's actually a little lever that you pull down. It's got a little picture of a buttonhole on it, and mine happens to say A on there, but it goes behind this first stop on your foot. Okay, and I have a little piece of fabric done here that's the exact same thickness as what I'm using for my project. I just wanted to make sure that that's going to work out for me. And you need to just mark where you want the front of your buttonhole. So if I were working on my project, I would mark exactly where I wanted it. So let's say I'm going to put a little X right here, and that's where I want to have it. Here's the little X I made. That's going to be the top of my buttonhole that I want on my project. So I'm going to center that between the two red horizontal markings. And then I'm going to press my presser foot down. Grab onto the thread on the left just very lightly. Make sure I have my machine set to the right number. And then I'm just going to press my pedal to start. It's going to start with the front portion, and then it's going to do a straight stitch. And it'll start to zigzag once that's all in position. There it's zigzagging back down. Pressing over to the bottom and doing straight stitch again up to the other side. And now it's zigzagging. Keep your steady pressure on your machine foot. It's going to stop all on its own. There we go. Lift up your presser foot. Raise your needle. And you're going to clip your threads. See a nice job on the back. Here's the top side. Started right where I wanted it to start. And then you take your seam ripper and go between. You can use a small pair of scissors, but this really seems to work really well. Make sure you cut all the way to the edge, but not through the ending stitches. It does do it a number of times, so it won't be that easy to get through those ending stitches, so you don't have to worry too much. And then you're going to clip those extra threads. Neaten that up a bit. And that button fits through perfectly. And we'll try this button here, which is a little bit tighter. You may have to loosen that up, but I don't want it to be too loose. I think that's going to be fine. So that came right through also. So a few more threads to cut off. And there you have a nice, neat buttonhole that didn't take all that long.